Hi there, I'm Alicia Malone, and thank you for watching TCM as we continue to explore the films directed by George Roy Hill. Hill served as a Marine pilot during World War II and the Korean War and had always been fascinated by flying. As a child, he would visit the local airfield and watch aerial stunts and earned his pilot's license at the age of 16. All of that went into the creation of our next movie from 1975. It's The Great Waldo Pepper. This was the third time George Roy Hill directed Robert Redford, following their successes with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting. This time, there is no Paul Newman, but like the previous two films, there is plenty of nostalgia and real history embedded into a period adventure. William Goldman, the Oscar-winning screenwriter of Butch Cassidy, wrote the screenplay based on a story by Hill. Set in the 1920s, Robert Redford stars as Waldo Pepper, a charismatic pilot who missed out on flying in combat during World War I, but takes up barnstorming, performing dangerous aerial stunts for live audiences and giving joyrides in his biplane. Later, he heads to Hollywood to become an aerial stuntman on a war film somewhat reminiscent of Howard Hughes's Hell's Angels. And like Hughes's film, The Great Waldo Pepper features incredible and terrifying aerial stunts, including wing walks, outside loops, car-to-plane and plane-to-plane transfers. If you're squeamish about heights and flying, like me, you'll find yourself covering your eyes several times, especially during one shocking moment. You'll see what I mean. The stunts were performed by pilot Frank Tallman, who later joked that he almost died making this movie, and reportedly George Roy Hill, an aviator himself, flew the camera plane. Let's get started with cinematography by Robert Surtees and starring Susan Sarandon. This is the TCM premiere of The Great Waldo Pepper. The Great Waldo Pepper marked the third time George Roy Hill directed Robert Redford, and being a period adventure with a script by Butch Cassidy writer William Goldman, it had all the traits of a success. But surprisingly, this film flopped at the box office, with audiences not rushing out to see Hill's examination of the American hero, despite the immense on-screen charisma of Redford. Not to mention the inclusion of Susan Sarandon and the horrific fate of her character. The Great Waldo Pepper was released the same year as the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which also wasn't a success, at least not initially. But this was the year of Jaws, which dominated the box office, and Redford would have a hit later that year with 3 Days of the Condor, directed by Sidney Pollack. I'll be back next Tuesday with more movies directed by George Roy Hill, but in the meantime, keep watching TCM. Next up is a comedic mystery from 1941 starring Red Skelton and Eve Arden. Enjoy, and I'll see you soon.
Next on TCM, Whistling in the Dark, then Whistling in Dixie, and later Whistling in Brooklyn. Wet your whistle with more TCM tonight.